Hello everybody, Brad Johnson here. In this video we're going to be talking about the extraterrestrial community through the channels of Adronis, Kidioki, and Codename Randall. And so this is basically just doing a makeup session, as it were, prior to what happened on the Reality Whisperer webcast the other night, where the sound was unfortunately off, but of course, as sound is working on this video, then we are good to go. And again, we're going to get three unique perspectives as it relates to the interactions, interventions, visitations of the extraterrestrial community, again through Adronis, through Kidioki, and through Codename Randall. So, here we go. We are here at this time, and we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this particular broadcast being brought forward through your internet collective consciousness that also has sound. Just kidding. We will now present insight as it relates to the extraterrestrial community. As we have talked about previously in your time through the webcast, as you term it, is that through the beginnings of your time, through the beginnings to where humanity dawned itself upon the earth, there has always been visitation. Through the inception to where the planet Earth herself was being created, there was visitation. Through the ages that represented your lifespans across many planets, focusing on this particular star system representing that of the planet that is no longer with you, that represents that of the asteroid belt, Maldek, the planet that you know as Mars, the planet that you know as Venus. In fact, all planets within your star system constitute some degree of life. Basically, the beginning times, the genesis, as it relates to the human experiment, began upon the planet Maldek. It was a very different type of life, yes, and it was a very different type of planet, many times the size of that of which you would know as your planet Earth. And that through Maldek, there were experiences coming together, mixtures of DNA, the development of the precursor to the human race. Although these particular beings were many times your size, as it was upon a planet that was many times the size of your Earth, this still began the patternization of the human experiment. And so therefore, Maldek is where it was happening. And because this particular star system is on the fringe of this galactic edge, this was a particular spot, a haven, a diamond in the rough, as it were, relating to where other beings could come together and bring unification, contribute their own genetics, and bring forward the original design to which humanity itself was originally blueprinted with. And that, therefore, was the intention. So, the aspect of visitations occurred on Maldek in the earlier times. That basically how you would understand your Neanderthals upon your planet Earth, Maldek itself also had that particular aspect, as did Mars, as did Venus. All of these particular planets had a particular beginning, had a golden age, had a challenging age, a dark age, etc. All of them possessed this particular span within the aspect of time. But through the visitations, as it relates to Earth, focusing now on the planet Earth, beginning with your earlier times in regards to your Neanderthal periods, there were tweakings taking place. The idea is that much in regards to the Neanderthals were very much third density in that aspect, yet more so in the idea of a second to third density intelligence as it relates to consciousness, because they were still acclimatizing to specific climatic zones upon your planet, still attempting to understand exactly how these species can therefore blend together in harmony with their surrounding environment. Therefore, you understand your 5 root races that you know of today. from your Asian, from your Indian, from your Native American, from your African, and then of course moving into later on the final species to come into your planet on a human level, that which represents the Caucasian, the Aryan in that way. Therefore they migrating to Mars, coming onto Earth. And so, these particular root races that you would understand were not the only root races that existed prior to what you would know as your pre-Atlantean times. There were other particular humanity, shall we say, experiments taking place. In fact, there is one particular root race that still exists within the inner Earth, representing that of what you would refer to as the blue-skinned people. They too were once part of the Earth. In fact, you will find ancient drawings in much of your eastern areas of your planet that depict what you would know as blue-colored people. And this also represented the idea of another particular root race. A root race that again was indigenous to this planet and therefore moved into the interiors of the planet, as well as several other different root races, very similar to the complexions that you would know as your main 5 root races at this particular time as well. So, those particular forms of internal stewards, the inner Earth civilizations, they once occupied the surface. When humanity was looking to be brought forward upon the planet, they all decided to return back into the interiors of the planet, to basically function as overseers and, of course, mentors as well. So, that was one particular type of inner stewardship. There were also stewards that functioned beyond the skies of the earth, and they too were to monitor the human being. So again, as you started to move yourself past the Neanderthal archetypes, moving more into what you would know as the archetype of the modern age, all of this required explicit forms of calibration. You were being remodeled, and basically you are now going into the 39th version of this remodeling, from number 1 to number 39, where the first version you looked very much more so like the being that you would know as the Sasquatch. And then again, through other particular versions, you started to develop yourself as it relates to the capacity to what you know as Homo sapien at this particular time. This is not the end for you. There will be, of course, the next phase, as we have talked about, representing that of the 4th wave, to where this is now going to become the 40th version of humanity, representing that of the hybrids, the hybrid children in that way, that are coming together on your planet and becoming this new aspect of the 40th version that will therefore carry on your legacy into the generations ahead. So, visitations have always taken place simply for the reasons of helping to tweak your genetics so that you can be ecologically balanced within the nature that surrounds you, within your environment. Being able to work together in helping to advance yourselves on a very higher evolutionary level, on many different faculty levels, relating to physical attributes, relating to mentality and intelligence, relating to the idea of connecting together with the natural living library of the Earth, the galaxy, and of course the universe. All of these are all part of how you are existing within a free will plateau, representing that of the Earth experiment. Why have free will upon this planet? So that a creator can create without boundaries. And that was the nature of the human race. For prior to the development of the human body, many other particular civilizations needed to incarnate only into different sects, factions, and again, specific niches of other life forms to basically fulfill certain obligations, tasks, orientations that helped to evolve the spirit. So basically you would incarnate as one particular type of life form and basically work to graduate as that particular type of life form. You would therefore be able to explore, and go into other particular star systems and incarnate as another particular life form to create a certain theme of exploration. So basically looking at the broadness, the contrast upon your planet today. If you were to cut all of the vast amount of arrays of spectrums relating to your expressions, just slicing them apart into many pieces, putting them into other civilizations as it relates to the themes, those are primarily what souls had to do. Go from one life, graduate, go to another 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 life, graduate, and so on and so on and so on, just so they could get a taste, basically, about what humanity is going through on this planet. So, through the creation of humanity came a new opportunity for all souls. Rather than just drifting from planet to planet, from species to species, from race to race, from civilization to civilization, from star system to star system, you can come to one planet and experience everything. And this was quite favorable by many other beings. Could this actually be possible? Is this actually true? Well, that is what humanity represents. A universal model archetype of incarnate platform, where you can incarnate into this body and therefore explore the contrast that represents the human being. Because everything, and we literally mean everything, that the galaxy has the potential to express itself in this way, you humans have the capability to express in your own way in this body. Not even just through this galaxy, but in many others. Throughout much of the universe, you have an array of experience that other beings can't even fathom. That's how advanced you are. So, later on, looking into the idea of interactions that have taken place upon your planet was all part and parcel of the educators, the stewards coming forward and sharing wisdom, sharing knowledge, sharing education with the human children. Being able to educate you about language, being able to educate you about mathematics, being able to educate you about social structure, about art, about spirituality, about connecting with nature. All of this was therefore representing the idea of beings from beyond your world coming to this planet, even at times beings coming from within the earth, coming upon the surface, and educating you specifically as these types of mentors. And they were simply deemed as sky people, or people from faraway lands, that basically came and taught you everything. For everything that represents your languages upon the planet, every single one of them has extraterrestrial descent. The same with your mathematics, the same with your own grammar, the same with everything that represents what you know. It has all come from the thought matrix. And so they were being stewards, mentors, guides, and educators for many of your appropriate cultures throughout the planet for hundreds of thousands of years. That is how you had your primary aspects of education. This is why when you look into the deep east, into the deeper aspects of the ancient times, you will again see all of these stories. You will therefore look at these hieroglyphs and these drawings about these ancient beings that came here and taught humanity everything. That was necessary because it's helping to put you on track. Not all planets do it as deeply as it has been done upon your planet, but because humanity is so sophisticated in its ability to surf throughout the wave of contrast, this was done in this particular way. So, interactions continued. Therefore, other particular beings would come down and provide humanity with quote-unquote gifts. However, as time evolved and as the polarized consciousness started to come together, these particular gifts that were given in good tidings to humanity were therefore being abused, simply because those who labeled themselves as kings, as emperors, as all of these particular monarch-like figures, decided to keep these gifts for themselves. They did not want to share. They wanted to utilize it again for their own states of power, and leaving the other aspects of their quote-unquote common folk in the dark about this, and letting them feed off the scraps. So basically, this is, again, what literally created the aspect of control agendas. And again, this is how your empires have come and gone, risen and fallen, simply because of the aspect of particular greed that was also taught to certain aspects of humanity through other particular visitors that were not very interested in allowing harmony to come upon humanity in equilibrium with the planet. So these interactions, again, when you move into your pre-industrial age, your post-industrial age, your Renaissance, etc., moving more into the modern times, started to decline more. Simply because there has been too much contamination being brought forward as it represented different contrasts of beings coming here and attempting to create some type of influence that would cause humanity to basically look at this in a polarized concept. Therefore, it was decided, let's withdraw, let's leave the humans be, let's see what happens as the ages pass. Then, of course, you move into the post-atomic era through the detonation of the atomic bomb. And that is where the line was drawn. We cannot allow the humans to continue this way. They will destroy themselves, they will destroy their planet, and they will destroy other civilizations existing in other dimensions that share the folds of space and time alongside you. So, this is what therefore created the pioneers to come to your planet. Other volunteer souls that came here and incarnated on this planet simply because Mother Earth was putting out a distress call as soon as that atomic bomb went off. Soon as it went off, I need help. I was almost destroyed. I need many other different beings to come here and to please assist my children. They have lost their way. And that is basically where the interactions now unfolded itself from the inside. And therefore, other brilliant beings from all over the cosmos, from different dimensions of reality, came upon your planet and are here now. In fact, many of these beings are listening to this transmission right now. Also, that there can be an example that when you knew you came to this planet, you knew it would be messy. You knew it would be quite a challenge to come here. However, you realized this was something that was capable of being achieved. Not just because it was so exciting, but because you will always service life. That's the nature of the soul. It's basically looking at the artist wanting to create these beautiful paintings, not because they have to, but because it is a part of themselves. And so it was a part of yourself to come here, to volunteer, and to help address these particular issues that represented human suffering. And many of you who have come here are so advanced that when you all begin to work together and allow yourselves to focus on the tasks at hand that have brought you here by, yes, being your authentic, genuine self, working with your emotional states, and helping to heal everything relating to the karmic aspects that have been brought into your life as you cross the barrier of the planet and incarnate here. Once you all come together, the aspect of what Earth can become is unlike anything it has ever been in its recorded history. And that is how profound this is. So, interactions are once again beginning, but they are continuing behind the scenes because the universe does not really make the aspect of mistakes, and it doesn't make the aspects of accidents, but it will not repeat again with what has not worked in the past. It will learn from that. So, it has learned not just to come directly upon a developing civilization and hand them goodies, hand them gifts, and thinking if they use this the way we want them to use it, then everything will turn around. Well, guess what? Humanity won't do that. And we will admit that much of the galactic community has had a great deal of naivety relating to the idea of handing you these gifts in your ancient past, feeling that this is going to reconcile everything. If they just use it for this purpose, if they use it for this goodness, everything will change. Absolutely, it could have, but they didn't. Because again, it was kept under wraps. Those few that were in power wanted to hold on to this. And so that is why the idea of in front of the scenes interactions had primarily ceased, simply because humanity wasn't getting the message that way. So the next phase was to bring in all of these intelligent, beautiful souls and have them come onto this planet and educate humanity from the inside. Humanity educating humanity. That's where you are now. That's the idea. So, through the aspects of these interventions, through the aspects of these insights that have been taking place, the interventions that are taking place upon your planet right now, which can happen, will entail the idea of calibrating yourselves appropriately for the changes ahead. So the interactions, again, are behind the scenes. The interventions that are taking place also are behind the scenes and are kept very quiet. So when a person, for example, is lying in bed, it now becomes 3 o'clock in the morning, all of a sudden they feel the energy of these beings around them, and they can feel their body just vibrating. They may even start to feel a type of sleeping paralysis. And they're wondering what is going on. You're being calibrated. Your physical body and your astral body are being phased out of sync. And basically all these codings, all of these instructions are being placed inside the astral body. Therefore, after that reaches completion, the astral body and the physical body slam back together. And now there is the transmutation effect based upon all the codes that have been applied into the astral body, now coming together into the physical body, where there are all these chemical, genetic changes taking place. You may feel somewhat strange. You may feel there may be symptoms of headaches, neck aches, back pains, sore stomachs, other particular forms that relate to commonly what is termed as ascension symptoms. In a way, this is fundamentally true because your body is being advanced. It is ascending itself into a new level. And again, certain extraterrestrial beings that come here have different types of bodies. Now, it is not different as it will relate to the construct of your organs or in your basic forms of anatomy, but it actually goes into deeper levels of DNA. You can often refer to these as certain types of blood types, such as what you would know as your Rh negative, for example. That too represents a specific archetype for certain beings. So you will come together with different aspects of membranes. You may have, again, different blood types. There may be, again, different forms of correlations with genetics that require extra attention for those that are serving you through this particular type of intervention to come in and activate, so that you are acclimatizing to all of the changes that are happening upon the planet. Well, Adronis, what would happen if these particular beings did not intervene? If I was to basically just stay here and continue on with my life and these changes did not happen? You basically would have a psychotic breakdown in the closest way we could state. So because the energies are so powerful, think in the idea of you trying to plug yourself into a wall that has such a high generational output of energy. You would basically blow your fuse. Well, that's basically what would happen, is if there was no intervention taking place behind the scenes, many of you would blow the fuse, and you would basically go through high levels of psychotic shock, going through mental breakdowns, simply because the energy is becoming so intense upon your planet right now that the aspect of behind-the-scenes intervention is very common. And so again, it is a hands-off policy. We're not here to sip tea with you and to drink coffee and say, oh, here's what we're all about. No. We are simply representing that idea of interventionalists, of technicians, of tech support that is coming together and helping to calibrate your body without interfering with your life, because that's the very unique contract as it relates to human beings on planet Earth. Do not interfere with their free will whatsoever. That is the grand plaque in that sense, that all beings that are volunteering behind the scenes will always follow. So basically, this is why free will is always being respected upon your planet. This is why intervention is always happening in this particular way. Hands off. And just allowing these particular aspects to be easily dismissible or acceptable. And again, this all comes down into the idea about the extraterrestrial presence. It is not for you to feel that when you have these encounters, you have to convince everybody upon the entire planet that you had these experiences. It's not going to happen. Not everybody is going to believe you. And they don't have to believe you. Because it's not about the idea of other people. It's that, yes, you have had these interactions. You have had these interventions. You may have had these visitations. But it's all part and parcel about how it is calibrating you and developing yourself. Where there will be mass sightings taking place on specific times throughout your times ahead, that is for certain amounts of people to view. But again, it is for your own world to make up its own mind as it relates to the extraterrestrial presence. We're not saying that you have to believe everything that this conduit is sharing through our energy right now. You can dismiss it and say, oh, channeling's not for me. I'm not going to deal with this. I'm leaving. All right, completely fine. Oh, this sounds very exciting because it does feel like there is a resonance here from what I'm sensing as well. Please share more. All right, sounds good as well. That's basically how we see it. It's not about the idea of feeling that I saw this extraterrestrial and everybody has to believe me. I got pictures of this extraterrestrial, I got videos of this extraterrestrial, I got an audio of this extraterrestrial, everybody has to believe me. Period. Well, if you're going to get into that mentality, you're going to encounter a lot of resistance. Because again, this is why it is a behind-the-scenes policy. It is not attempting to interrupt with anybody's free will. This is why it is absolutely all right with us and many other civilizations that are working alongside you to say, I don't believe that this has happened. To us, we're saying, all right, sounds good. But don't you want to be known? No, we don't. Not really. Simply because we understand that what we're doing here is working behind the scenes. Again, people can dismiss this channeling as anything they wish. But basically what's important is that you are transforming. You are evolving in your way. We don't have to be the in front of the scenes aspect for you to cherish. Those of you who feel us will feel us, and that's fine. We are happy that you are feeling us. Those of you who do not want to believe in us, do not believe with us, and we are fine with that as well. Do not concern about the idea of feeling that you have to make this completely known to the entire world. Let the flow of this world, of its people, continue. And in time, it will become undeniable that other civilizations exist. But you must get there on your own, through your own free will, as you cooperate, as you bring yourselves together in a state of peace, in a state of harmony, working together in that love. Not through the idea of attempting to shove this down people's throat and saying, you have to believe me, you have to believe me. Because again, that just creates a belief system. That just creates an opinion religion. And that creates a mentality where people say that I don't really want to hang around this person anymore. They're just being too harsh with this. And again, they would be correct. So, look into the idea about what this is doing for you, how you are transforming, how you are evolving. As you may have had interactions, involvements, visitations, interventions with the extraterrestrial community. We are here, but we do not care if you need to know that we are here or not. We're doing our work behind the scenes, and that is what's important. We will now switch gears, as we will now bring in the energy known as Kidioki of the Pla-Yel civilization, representing that of the second generation of the hybrid races. So, we will now take a moment to adjust the conduit and bring forward Kidioki's energy. One moment, please. Greetings to all our brothers and sisters of planet Earth. I am Kidioki of the Pla-Yel civilization. We are once again happy to hear that the audio transmission is now working this particular time. For all we were saying the previous day of your time is again saying hello to all of you, to our human star family, to our planetary family existing upon the Earth. For we have interacted since these particular times, as you know time to exist, working together with other particular civilizations, simply sharing our joy, sharing our excitement as it relates to other beings that are again amongst your skies. We have also traversed ourselves into different planetary systems, areas that you would know as Jupiter, areas that you would know as Saturn, areas that you would know as Neptune, much in regards to the satellites within their orbits, that we have also interacted with certain beings there. And we have simply still been in observation as it relates to how we are excited to again see the development of your culture, the development of your kind. Even though you're going through some very intense periods, it's a very exciting time to be alive. It's very exciting to be here on your planet. It's very important to get into the alignment of how everything is changing and realizing this is all part of the process that you have all asked for. And as you have all asked for this, therefore this is what you are receiving. The idea of great change. The idea that your star family is always with you, whether you believe us to be or not. We are simply here, and we are always happy to bring forward assistance in the ways that allow itself to complement itself together with us and yourselves. Therefore, we share our love together with you. We want you to know that we are always available. We are happy to see that there are so many others that are opening themselves up past the old systems, moving themselves into expansion, realizing that this is the course, that as you continue to walk this line, as you continue to follow down this path, that you'll be able to interact more and more with civilizations existing within your world, again, in other dimensions, and even beyond your world as well, too. All you simply have to do is calibrate yourself to be the person that you wish to become that allows these interactions to take place. It's simply a permission slip, as you understand it. And so, we have been communicating with others. We have been sharing our stories as it relates to the human race, and that we are excited with all of you. We are thrilled to be a part of this interaction, even though that we are, again, behind the scenes. We're not walking the planet as you are right now. We are in orbit of your Earth. We would approximately be in the area that you would know in orbit above the country of Mexico at this particular time, simply because there are beings there that we interact with also, just through the idea of dream states, that we come into dreams quite often and say hello to others upon your planet. Simply allowing ourselves to choose a form that is not apprehensive, that is not too shocking. Again, we can often represent ourselves in familiar faces throughout your dreams, just so we can say hello and we can share our perspectives with you as you have allowed it to be. So, we thank you for those very strong co-creations. And that the times to where you are moving ahead, as you move further into the fourth density of existence, you will discover that the hybrid races will very much be a part of your plane. That the particular cousins of ours, representing that of the Yel civilization, will very much be a part of your plane as you move and integrate yourselves into fourth density. They will, again, be part of your family on a much more intimate level. we ourselves will be coming later on, but nonetheless our cousins will be there, will be sharing themselves together with you, telling you all about how the universe truly works, how galactic civilization truly functions, how all of you are part of the interconnectedness that makes all of us into who we are now, through creative, collective agreement, that we are all experiencing each other's lives. So, the Yahyel, therefore, yes, very much a part of your plane, as they will be the ones who will be your stewards, your mentors, your educators, as you allow yourself to cross the threshold and moving into this new planet Earth. So, visitations will therefore represent the idea of relationships on a very deep, intimate level. So we again wanted to say thank you to all of you who are tuning in to this frequency now. We thank you for this transmission. I am Kidioki of the Playa civilization. Thank you again, and we will now adjust the frequencies once again as we have another guest in store. Thank you again, and goodbye for now. Well, all right, we're here. Thank you very much, everybody, once again for letting us in the door. I am that of what you would know as the 33rd century steward here, known as Codename Randall. We understand it's been a while, not counting the time of your yesterday evening, where we weren't able to come through. There were some audio difficulties, but hey, shit happens. It's all right. And again, we're just playful. We love to play with all of you simply because it's an exciting time upon your planet right now. Really is quite exciting. As we're watching this within our own little installation, we again have what you would know as monitors all around us. We're looking at different dimensional lines. We're looking at up line. We're looking at down line. We're looking into moments ahead. We're looking into moments backwards, just as a means of example in that way. Just a figurative expression. But we again see exactly what you're going through. And basically we can say that we have gone through all of this as well too, through our own compatible timelines, through our own dimensional line in coherency together with your own dimensional line. We also had a President Donald Trump as well. Yes, his family's still intact just the way he is right now. Again, there isn't really that much of a divergence factor as it relates to your particular dimensional line and our dimensional line itself. Very, very small, from about a 1 to 3% divergence altogether. So again, this is still going to happen. You're still going to have quite a bit of shakeups. In fact, for about the next 7-8 years, give or take. Simply because there's so much stuff that needs to get out in the open. You have to know exactly what's been happening under your noses for all of these years. And it's not going to be pretty. You have to really realize that as a civilization, all of this nasty shit has to come out. All of these aspects of false flags, all these aspects of corrupt politics, all this financial mumbo-jumbo, it all has to come out together in the open. And when it does now, therefore, it has now become revealed. As it becomes revealed, now you're able to move yourself forward. As you move yourself forward, you realize that you're not going to fall for the old tricks again. And we can basically state that throughout these next few years, all of the shit's going to hit the fan, but you'll never have to go through the shit again. That's the wonderful thing about all this. Once everything's exposed, once everything's out in the open, whether people believe it or not, it really doesn't matter. Because this has all been exposed, this has all been brought out into the open, and you never have to deal with it again. Therefore, you can move forward. Again, we had to go through the same thing. Granted, I wasn't in part of your century, but there was, again, a lot of documentation, a lot of factual analysis as it relates to this time. This was truly the end of the Dark Ages. You're not quite in the Golden Age just yet. You're still just going through these shadow periods. The dark night of the soul, as it relates to Earth, is a very, very long time. And you're now just ending that particular cusp. And you're about to move into something more further, more forward. So again, hang in there. Let yourselves, again, see the world through your own eyes. In fact, the energy of Adronis has talked about this quite well. As long as you keep focusing on this media shit, then you're always going to start seeing reality through somebody else's eyes, the way that someone else wants you to see it. So again, it's not about extraterrestrial civilizations. That time is going to come. It's not about other particular civilizations that are here to feel that they're going to bail you out, because they're not. It's not the idea of saying that I want to go home, I want to go home, I don't want to be here anymore. Well, guess what? You're being here. You're being here right now. So it's all about being able to understand why you're here. You all heard about exactly how Adronis said that there are volunteers coming to this planet. And these volunteers have come from all over the cosmos. They've kept coming even up into the 33rd century. Even there is around 2 billion of us here on this planet. It's still a great mix. Many other of the Earth populace in that sense have expanded themselves to different star systems, different planets. But there still is, again, a rough 2 billion people here upon Earth in the 33rd century. And again, it still brings forward all these incredible visitors, beings from all over, different realms, different dimensions, different planets, all coming here and therefore being able to remember everything about their lives, even technologies, even again, new consciousness aspects that help us to advance our way about how we understand the universe. But I myself, again, have already stated that I'm hybrid of hybrids, have hybrid genetics of hybrid civilizations. Beings like you would know as the Yahyel, beings that you would know as the Nordics, beings what you would know as the tall whites in that way, beings that you would know as the Zadans or the Greys, have all of these mixtures, again, human being as well, into my own genetic structure. It's quite common to have quite a mix like this. Well, some of you may ask, well, Randall, shit, what about the inner Earth civilizations in the 33rd century? Well, hell, this is what we're talking about. We're inside the Earth from where I'm broadcasting. For where I'm allowing myself to project my astral body, connect to a tether to Brad himself here, and have this conversation with you. Hell, that's exactly how it's happening, by us being inside the Earth. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a guess, a sweet spot about what's been happening inside the Earth. Many people live inside the Earth as well, too. Stewards that you would know as those Argothan network fellas, working together in co-creation with us. The whole idea of the duality that was a part of third density ain't existing here in the fourth. Not anymore, ladies and gents. Nope. That's old ship has sailed. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful happenings here in the 33rd century. But again, we want to focus more about where you're going. So, some of you may also ask, well, Randall, since you're able to see into what lies ahead, what is going to take place? Well, again, we have to make sure we're preserving free will here, but there's going to be more of these particular forms of false flags. Simple as that. There's going to be a lot more. So because there's a spaz attack happening as it relates to many of these elites. Many of them, in that sense, will still try to create havoc. Basically, shall we say, just stir in the pot. Stir in the pot as it relates to gaslighting, you could say, psychological processes, playing psychological games. Well, Randall, are they going to try and do a hoax alien invasion? Yeah, they're going to try. Doesn't mean it's going to fly, though, but they're certainly going to try. That's one of their last agendas in their playbook, to basically try and create a hoax alien invasion. That's the final card. That's the trump card, no pun intended. However, we feel it's not going to fly. It's not going to move itself too strongly into believability. It's going to be dismissed quite easily, which means that it may not even get off the ground, but it is something that they are going to take into consideration. And basically a lot of these particular forms of spacecraft they can find underneath Antarctica. They can find in many of the old installation bases as well too, but many of them don't have the grasp upon that technology so much anymore. So this is again still up in the air, but it's again not saying that it's something that they won't consider. They're going to consider it. So whether it happens right now or not is all just a probability. But they certainly will consider utilizing that particular trump card. But what's most important right now is that you're educating yourselves. Just get the knowledge out there. Don't worry so much about if people are able to swallow this shit or not. So because the more that you're able just to expose, to share, to get that knowledge out there, to work together with people, to helping them through these times, the more of an impact you're going to generate towards a very positive future. That's what's happening. So we ask you once again, stay within your love space, stay empowered with yourselves, work together in seeing the world through your own eyes. Yes, there's many beings that are helping you inside the planet, upon the surface, because there are quite a few different beings in disguise, we will say, incognito in that way, that are walking around your planet, that are also helping you out quite as well too. Shit, that's basically what they're here for. They're helping you out in that way. We're again just one particular caveat here helping you out. It's why we're here. It's why we've signed the dotted line. We're helping our ancestors that really are just here with us right now. And that your great grandchildren are here on the other side, and we're only veils apart. Really not too separate. You're communicating with us right now, so shows you exactly how close we are. Just veils apart, and that's how we operate. So really, it's going to be a hell of a time, humans, because as we've stated, that when this shit hits the fan and you're past all that, well then, you're looking at a really different Earth. An Earth that's going to be so unlike anything you can imagine. No barriers, no constructs, no programs, no control getting in the way of allowing you to live your life. That's what fourth density holds. That's you beginning anew. That's you planting all these seeds right now, and they will sprout as you enter the fourth. It's where we are, and we could not ask for a more beautiful planet, a more beautiful way of life. Getting to know other cultures, other civilizations, the way we're getting to know you right now. And there will be opportunities for you to get to know us in those times ahead. So we want to say hello and goodbye to all of our family here in the 21st century. From the 33rd century, we're blowing you kisses, we're giving you cosmic hugs, and we're just around the corner of the veil. We'll talk to you again in just a sec. We are back, and we want to thank each and every one of you for the opportunity of allowing yourselves to tune in to this transmission today. I am Adronis of Sirius, on behalf also of the energy of Kidioki and Codename Randall. We thank you as well. We will now return to the conduit and speak to you again, as now is forever, and all is one. Goodbye for now. Alright guys, so that's basically what was not being revealed yesterday. So there's quite a bit of new add-on bits as well too with all three energies. So I hope you again enjoyed this video today. And again, any questions on this video or any other videos on my channel, feel free to go to my website, www.realitywhisperer.com. Feel free to look at the contact section. You can always send me an email, plus private sessions, light circuitry attunements, free media, free meditations, and a lot more available on the site. Thank you again, everybody. Take care, and may it be well with you. Goodbye.